Hello, everybody. It is so perfect that Ann McGuire is the recipient of Creighton's Believe and Achieve Award. For nearly 50 years, I have seen Ann believe in her fierce passion for family. She and Mike are parents of 4, grandparents of 5. Her belief in the priority of women's rights, political participation, belief in her own gifts and strengths, and belief in a lifetime commitment to health and fitness. She also believes in the responsibility of being empathetic to the plight of others, and through it all, maintains an attitude of, no matter what, we're going to be resilient and we're going to have a sense of humor. I've also seen her achieve as a student, and you're really smart. You're a co-editor of multiple nursing textbooks. As a leader, when you were the Creighton head RA, you're the first and only member of the OPPD Board for many years, and the only elected woman to the OPPD Board for 22 years. Now you're in your 24th year of elected service. So congratulations, Ann, on this wonderful recognition. So here we go. You were very involved in student life back in 1972, 73, previous century, to those student athletes listening at home. In terms of women's rights, you were involved, and we first started women's athletics really at the same time when Title IX kicked in. So, but what motivated you, Ann, to get involved with supporting women's athletics from back in the day when we were the Lady Jays all the way up until now?
Thanks, Mary. I am humbled to have this award. 1972, like you mentioned, was the in the height of the women's movement, and Title IX came about that summer of 72. And in the fall of 72, we moved next door to each other on second floor Dagelman. And I remember I really wasn't even knowledgeable about women's athletics, because there really wasn't any women's athletics until you came and told me that you were going to go talk to Dan Offenberger to see if we can start a women's softball team at Creighton. And I remember you came back and you did that. And then the next spring, I remember when you walked in very proudly with your softball uniform on, ready to go to Smith Field. However, before then, you had to sort of prepare the field, which is with Dan Offenberger helping you and the entire team. And how did that first game start? How did it end up, Mary?
Well, to be precise, it got rained out.
Sorry about that. Well, you went on to win many more games after that. And that sort of got me interested in women's athletics. After we moved away, we kept in touch. And I remember going to softball games in Springfield, Missouri, and watching you guys. When we came back in I think it was 89 or so, we immediately hooked up with athletics again. And Mary, you got me involved. You're the women's director, whatever. You got me involved in the J. Becker Jamboree, which I chaired a couple of years. And after that, I was on the J. Becker board. On the J. Becker board at that time, they had the NCAA had you review your athletic department, and one of the areas was facilities and equity. And I was on the quote unquote equity committee on the J. Becker board at that time, and I got to go look at the different facilities. We are aware of Smith Field. The volleyball team was at South High, and the girls' basketball team was in the old gym. Things have changed a lot since then. So I've been able to watch the growth of all the women's athletics through these years, and it's been a wonderful ride.
So, all right, I got another question for you. Knowing you for all these years, I have to say I have always admired your courage to run for the OPPD board back then, years ago, when very few women were doing so. So tell the story, if you will, of how you initially got recruited to run nearly 25 years ago, and how you won in such a landslide.
It was definitely a landslide, yes. Well, it was 10:30 at night. We got a phone call from John Green, and people might know Jane Alseth. She's pretty active. She's on the J. Becker board right now with it. Well, John is Jane's sister. At any rate, John calls up at 10:30 at night. He was a director on the OPPD board at that time, and he said, "Hey, we're looking for somebody to run at OPPD. We're short one person to run, and we really need somebody to run. Would Mike be interested? And I'm answering the phone, and I said, well, heck no, Mike's not good at that. I am. I'll run, not Mike. So that's how I sort of got into the politics of it all.
And your landslide?
The landslide was, well, we didn't find out until about a month afterwards because of all the provisional votes that had to be signed. But I did win by 24 votes.
There you go. There you go. All right. I got to say, Ann, I have also admired your resiliency and ability to always maintain a sense of humor through some pretty tough circumstances throughout your life, like last spring when your home got flooded, when you navigated some educational challenges with your kids. Those were some tough sledding things, but you always seem to demonstrate an attitude of, well, we'll just figure it out and keep moving forward. So the question is, I want to ask you, where does your courage as well as your resiliency come from?
Well, I think it's because, I actually phoned a friend and I talked to my sister, one of my sisters, about this. And she said, well, hello, you've got a lot of strong role models. I was one of 10 kids in a area. At that time, my mother, she was good enough. She was so amazing. She could run forward mortar. We always said, yeah, she was in charge, and she was always in charge and could run forward mortar, we always said. She taught us persistence. A lot of our kids in our family had dyslexia, had learning disabilities and everything. But, if anything went wrong, she always said, get back there, go back in there and try again. So she sort of set the pace for all of us. My husband, Mike's family, he has a lot of women leaders in both business, education, and politics. And, these past 20, 30 years, they taught me that it was important to take a chance and to be vulnerable. The last thing I think is the most important thing is I'm not afraid to ask for help when I need it.
All right. Well, our final question, our female student athletes out there can, I think, especially benefit from witnessing the leadership paths of role models. And what advice, Ann, would you give to our current student athletes who are striving to believe and achieve in their own life path?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to be a lifelong learner, to research topics and that discuss all different viewpoints, not just what your own viewpoint is now, to reach out and look beyond. Religions, look at different religions, look at different political views. Always be a lifelong learner. Learn about pandemics. Go back into the history. The other thing I've learned as I've grown older, and I have to always work on, is I have to listen before I speak. I think that's very important to be a leader. You have to be able to listen to other people before you can act and say anything. I think it's very important for any leader to be kind, to be grateful, to be humble, but at the same time, you have to be bold and you have to take those chances.
Really well said, Ann. You are an inspiration to me. I got to tell you, it's been a privilege to be such good friends with you for decades and decades. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for your friendship, to thank you for what you have done for the Omaha community, as well as Creighton's athletics.
Well, thank you, Mary. I've always, I'm very grateful to have you as a friend. I'm grateful to have Creighton. It's a very, very large part of my life and my entire family's life. We will always be lifelong J people. I guess I can say one more thing to everybody is for any woman to, as a woman, you have to recognize there's just not one path you'll take, that we have to be multitaskers, especially if we choose family life. You have multiple choices, paths, and opportunities throughout your life. At the same time, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. I always say, they say, how do you do it, Ann? I say, well, life's a roller coaster. But if there's a lot of ups and downs, but if you hold on tight, you're going to really enjoy the ride.
Thank you, Ann. This has been fun.
Thank you, Mary. It has been a lot of fun.